I'm sorry, like, I know this sounds toxic, but you need to test people because you're giving that person access to you. Hey, I'm Zainab.
And I'm Mia.
And welcome to another episode of Sprinkles and Spice.
And could he possibly be a serial killer? But at least he's hot.
As long as he's hot.
Listen, Ted Bundy was good looking.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he got away with murder.
I mean, speaking of hot serial killers or just serial killers in general, I saw this TikTok the other day.
You read an article. Yes.
I read an article because I'm a reader and a thinker and an intellectual woman. So basically, I saw this TikTok. I think this woman was reading a Reddit post. And this girl basically goes on a date with a guy that she met on an app. They were chatting for a week and then he asks her out. They go out. I think she lived in New York or something. And then the date went really well. He was really nice, paid for it. It was very generous. And then they go their separate ways. A few minutes later, he texts her, calls her, and he was like, oh, I'm locked out of my apartment. My roommate is not there. I don't know what to do. I'm stranded. No, whatever. And then I love how we started this episode with a story time.
And not our story time.
Not our story time. And then imagine that she invites him over to sleep at her apartment.
Yeah.
And so he sleeps over in the living room.
Wait, pause. She invites him over after the first date when he messages her?
Yeah, because she was like, oh, okay, I guess like come and sleep.
He doesn't
crash
have
at mine.
money for a hotel. He doesn't have friends.
That's what I thought, honestly. Literally, like, why am I your last resort?
Like, I just met you.
I
hate that she said yes. It's already red flag.
It's kind of weird.
I'm already
like,
out.
okay, I don't know. Like, even if the date went well, like, anyways, America.
You're blocked.
America. Anyways, so he comes over, crashes on her couch. And then she was like, she hears a knock in the middle of the night. And it was him asking for a charger. Something in her gut told her not to open the door or unlock it. And she was like, she never locks her bedroom door. That day, she felt like she needed to lock her bedroom door. So she doesn't get out of bed. She just tells him there's a charger in the kitchen.
Yeah.
A few minutes later, she hears another knock on the door. And he was like, the charger is not working.
Okay, I'm out.
And then, so now she is freaking out.
Police.
That's what she did. So she calls the cops. The cops come. Few, I guess, like minutes later, maybe an hour.
Wait,
whatever.
how did they get in?
I'm sure they knocked on the door and he opened it. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the details.
Okay.
It was a TikTok.
Okay.
And so she hears another knock on her door and it's the cops. And they're like, we are here. We have this man in custody. We need you to come out to see the state of your apartment. She walks out and her entire apartment is covered in plastic. And he had power tools on the floor.
What?
He was going to kill her.
Okay, first of all, not to blame women because I support women's rights and women's wrongs, as you all know. Girl, why did you even let him in the first place? You don't even know him.
I mean, we're not victim blaming. Like, she was probably trying to be nice.
Yeah, she was probably.
I mean, I'm glad she let him sleep in the living room.
Women sometimes are victims of their kindness.
Mm.
Like, I always feel like girls will do something because we're so nice. And it always ends up biting us in the ass. Every single time I've been nice to someone that's like strange, they always just do something afterwards. And I'm like, oh my God, I should have just been mean to you. I would not be in this situation.
I mean, it's the man versus the bear all over again.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
Bear.
I mean, that's why the question was asked in the first place. And my favorite was like how men kind of were trying to rebuttal. And then they're like, a woman or a dog. And it's like, they're not the same.
It's
okay, we're talking about safety. You're talking about loyalty. I'm talking about life and death. And you're talking about a lifelong
sentence.
Pet, whatever, you know?
A dog. I love dogs, but they're a lifelong sentence.
No,
they are.
I love dogs.
Like, I love dogs so much, but it's hard work. Like, I want a dog, but right now with my 2 cats, I think I've done enough. You know,
she's a cat mom.
I'm a cat mom. I'm going to be a dog mom when I'm a strong, independent woman. Not right now.
So you're not a strong, independent woman right now?
I'm not that independent. My whole family is taking care of the cats because I'm always traveling. It's difficult. It's difficult to have like a pet when you're traveling.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm strong. but I don't want to be that
I'm
independent.
not that
I'm not that
independent.
independent.
No.
So basically, today's episode, we are going to be talking about
Serial killers.
and how to avoid them.
Mhm. Mhm.
No, really. Actually, we're going to be talking about basically how to suss a partner out.
Yeah, like what their intentions are, like if they're in it for the wrong reasons or the right ones, like
Yeah.
basically like some key things to look out for.
Whether I guess you're dating or it's an arranged engagement or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just, what to look
Because
out
there
for.
are horror stories, I think, on both ends, honestly.
For sure. Definitely agree. I think the best thing that we can do in Kuwait specifically, because Kuwait is so small and everybody knows everyone, the first thing I would think of is like vetting someone through your like network.
Yeah, ask about them. Like,
Ask about that
what they're
person.
like. Something that I also like in terms of vetting someone else, it's very Kuwait specific, but are you a TK or a McChicken? So TK is typical Kuwaiti, and they're just more into the Kuwaiti lifestyle, and they're more traditional in Kuwaiti terms, like whether it be lifestyle or like the music they listen to or like the TV shows they watch, like it's just more Kuwaiti coded. And a McChicken is someone who's more westernized in terms of musical taste, like they just maybe speak English more, probably went to private school, so there's all that influence. I think that helps. Like, for example, for me, when I meet TKs, we bond over very little when it comes to Kuwait because I don't know enough culturally. Whereas when I meet McChickens, even though I come from outside, we probably watch the same TV shows, listen to the same music, like we can really bond over like pop culture.
Yeah.
So yeah,
McChicken
I think that's
now is used kind of as a not necessarily derogatory, but yeah, it's kind of used to make fun of someone. Like it's not really like you don't want to be called a McChicken, but whatever. But yeah, I would say that is a good way to vet someone. I mean, if it's a family engagement, your family would obviously go and ask about the person and their family and no. But I feel like, something I noticed a lot of times when it's a family engagement, your family's going to ask about that person. Some people don't really are not really honest. Like they will know. Like for example. Should I bring my ex-husband into this?
Let's go. Story time. Ex-husband.
No, for example, like with my ex-husband, when we asked about him, someone had mentioned that he was a bit stingy or their family were a bit gross. They're a bit stingy. And no one mentioned that until after the divorce. And they were like, yeah, we heard that. And I was like, why? And when we asked that, they were like, oh yeah, we just didn't think it was a big of a deal. And like, but isn't it my right to know what is being said about this person? What is the general consensus? You know what I mean? So that I can judge for myself. But yeah, I noticed some people don't really tell you the honest truth about that person out of fear of like, I don't know how to say it in English, but
so basically there's no literal translation, but the idea is they don't want to stop you from maybe that's your destiny to be with him, I think honestly, like deeper than that, I think, yes, you can ask about someone and you get the family tea from the families. The parents do a phenomenal job. I also like asking about someone via friends. What do their friends have to say about them? Because maybe the friends can tell you, oh, like this is this person and they were super focused on their career and yeah, they're super honest. Or maybe they can say, hey, listen, this person has a horrible dating history. They've mistreated someone. You know what I mean? So I like the tea that the family doesn't know. I think it's important in this day and age to look into both. Because sometimes the families only know the good stuff. Yeah. And the friends have the real version.
True.
Taylor's version.
Okay, so I think the other side of the spectrum also could be like sometimes I wouldn't want to be influenced by other people's opinions. I want to kind of find out for myself for the start. It depends. I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence with this.
Same.
Where it depends on who I want to ask. You know what I mean?
I think it all depends on who I want to ask. Like, I think if I ask the person that I trust, like if I ask you, for example, or ask another one of my best friends, I'd be like, yes, I want their tea because they're going to make sure that their tea is real. Some people just like to gossip and spread misinformation.
That's the thing. If you know someone is, like you said, like
trustworthy,
just likes to gossip or spread misinformation, don't take their word. I mean, or take it at face value. Maybe, okay, make a mental note, keep an eye out for it, but don't take it to heart.
Yeah.
I also like, this is a lesson I learned the hard way. how he makes you feel or how you talk about him. Like sometimes our friends might not have met the person that we're engaged to or dating or whatever, but they know you and they know how that person is making you feel, whether they're making you happy or not. So also keep an eye out for that, don't you think?
1000%.
Right?
I think also how you feel leaving that person is a big one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could see someone for the first time, and the whole time, I think you're so focused on what they're saying. So if you're asking questions like, where did you study? No, no, no. Like, how you feel after meeting that person initially, I think that's a huge factor.
Yeah.
Recently, I went in, this is super random, but like, I recently went in for this job interview, and I left feeling really uncomfortable and weird. And you reminded me, you're like, Mia, it's an interesting opportunity for sure to explore. But do you remember how you felt? And that moment, I was like, yeah, like there's no point. I felt weird.
Yeah.
Probably not going to succeed there anyways. You know what I mean?
I mean, as women, we have great intuition. We have a great gut feeling. A lot of times we ignore it. But for me, definitely like the biggest indicator is if my friends hate the person that I'm seeing,
I'm out.
that's a red flag.
Yeah.
That's a huge red flag. Like, and it's not just one friend, it's multiple friends.
The consensus.
Yeah, and they might not know each other, but they all have this kind of like
Uncomfortable feeling.
yeah, they're side-eyeing him.
And I think as friends, you know, we have to, I don't like getting into the nitty-gritty, but we have to, it's a duty, right? Like to tell our friend the reality. Like if we feel some type of way, say it nicely. Be like, listen, I didn't get a good feel for this person. Maybe
Yeah.
let's have another sit down with them. Like I want to ask more questions. But I think especially when it comes to like getting married and all of that, like it's important to really like be comfortable with the person that your friend
Yeah.
is choosing. Otherwise, you're being sort of a bad friend.
I mean, also I say this to you all the time. I feel like sometimes we can project our own fears and insecurities onto other people's relationships out of our own trauma.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like I could have experienced something and the way I perceive it, because we all have different perceptions of reality. So the way I perceive your relationship could be from the lens of my trauma. So I might be giving you advice that's based on my own projection. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Okay. Something I really think is important is to ask the right questions.
Yes, for sure.
Like when you're sitting with that person, a lot of times you want to have like cute, fun talks. Like you want things to be light. You can keep things cute, fun, and light, but you can also strategically ask questions to suss out their actual intentions and who they are. Because pause, I feel like the first time you meet someone, whether you want to call it a first date or a first meeting, it's kind of like a job interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's pause. It was great the first time, but it's also a job interview. You're your best self. You're your most bubbly
Yeah.
self. You're your most happy self.
Also, you
Like,
know, as
you're putting on a
Sagittarius,
face.
we're known to kind of interrogate. Like for us, it's out of curiosity.
We're so
I so
nosy.
get that sometimes where I'm like, oh, I have to catch myself because I feel like I'm interrogating this person,
Yeah.
but
I
it's
feel
not
like
interrogation.
I feel
It's
like I'm
out of
interviewing them.
curiosity. Yeah, yeah.
I'm really? Oh my God. And where did you grow up? No, wait, tell me more. And I'm like, this is not an interview.
And I'm like, where did the "What's your favorite color" questions go?
No, I've never asked that question to someone that
I
I'm just
hate when someone
dating.
asks me, "What's your favorite color?"
Why? Why does it matter?
Why do you want to know? It's not like you're
Yes.
going to remember it. You're a man.
Yeah,
You're not
no.
going to remember it and get me a gift that's my favorite color.
Are you asking me to buy me a car? What's my favorite color on a car?
I mean, honestly, though, I do like it when people remember. Like when you say, for example, I like
I like
this.
small
that.
details. Yeah.
I like small details.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing that kept me hooked with my ex is that he remembered small details. And I was like, he loves me. He loves me. But daddy, I love him. You know that, what that line's from?
Yeah, you ma.
أنا أحبه. Yeah, you.
I can't believe I came up with that reference. I felt
Yeah.
so
She's
quitty right
so
there.
quitty.
So
She's
quitty
TK.
quitty. I've been here for 2 months. I've been back for 2 months, and I'm so TK.
Reconnecting with her
Reconnecting my roots. I
and your
need to go
culture.
touch some sand. I have to reconnect with my roots.
Ride a camel, live in a tent.
I don't know if people still do it, but girls more than guys, we love a man with a plan. I personally love a
A
man
man with a plan. I
No,
love
but
that.
I'm a horrible planner. I'm a horrible chooser. So if I can
Chooser.
see, true, girl, like if I have more than 3 options, I'm out. I can't.
I get overwhelmed.
No, I
Don't give
do.
me too many options.
It's like
same.
I don't know what to do with myself. So instead of being like, what's your 5-year plan? Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I really hate that question. I think it's debilitating when someone asks me that. I want to be like, in 5 years, I don't know. Maybe I'll be married with kids. Maybe I'll be jet setting around the world. I don't know who I'll be in 5 years. But you can be like, what are your hobbies? Because via their hobbies, you can sort of see what their life looks at or what their life could pan out to be. So if hobbies include, I don't know, skydiving and going to Dubai every weekend, you can imagine that maybe in 5 years, they're not necessarily going to be focused on their career if that's just not what they seem to be focused on.
Yeah. Also, it's good to know what a typical day looks for them. So you can know if that matches your vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And are you happy with your job? Do you see yourself doing something more entrepreneurial? Ask about how they feel about where they're working. So you really just know, is this someone that's really career oriented first? They don't see themselves having kids anytime soon. And I think a lot of times when you start with career, people will say I really want to be financially stable so I can start a family, or I really want to be financially stable so I can, like I said, travel the world. You get to see sort of where they see their life.
Yeah. I like to also ask
Tell me.
triggering questions.
Okay.
It's my favorite word. Triggered. But I don't know. Maybe is that a bad thing?
No.
I would want to know, for me, I would want to know if I'm being crazy, if I'm PMSing and I'm just not having it. I don't want to look at you. I don't want you to speak. I don't want to hear you breathing. How are you going to act?
Yeah, I fully agree with that. If I'm PMSing, do you pass the PMS test? No, do you pass me? Honestly, something that happened years ago, I was out with this friend, and this is crazy because he's like a brother to me, but this is back when he didn't know me that well. I started spiraling, and little did I know I was actually PMSing. And he clocked that I was really losing it. And when we had passed by this cookie place, I used to love Ben's cookies when I was younger. Ben's cookies in London, shout out if you guys know, you know.
Ugh, I don't like them.
I love them. If it hadn't been for him clocking the fact that I clocked the cookie place, and I was like, oh, I was so happy seeing the cookie place, I would have probably passed out, because he looks at me, he's like, hey, wait a second, I'll be right back. We were in a cafe. He leaves the cafe. In 5 minutes, he's back with a cookie. And guys, it switched up my mood so hard. So that in my head, I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. That changed my mood. Obviously, later on, I was like, oh, I was PMSing. PMS test him. Let's see what he's like when you PMS.
Act crazy. The moral of the story is act crazy and see how he reacts.
Don't act fully crazy, but listen, be yourself. Okay, let's not do this whole job interview, best face, jazz hands.
Guys, also please don't take my advice. I get pretty toxic sometimes.
I thought you were saying I'm divorced.
I'm divorced also. No, but that was not my fault. That was purely his fault.
Yeah, that was his fault.
Because look at me.
Who would want to divorce me?
Who would want to divorce me? Honestly.
I've never been married, so I'm so sorry.
What's the craziest thing that you've done in a relationship, and has someone passed that test?
Me had a mental breakdown. Started crying my eyes out and lose. You know when I'm PMSing? I PMSed. It was really bad this one time. He was just staying there, and then he's like, "Are you PMSing?" And I was like, "Are you crazy?" I was.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing. Okay, I hate it. Okay, yes, maybe I am PMSing, but don't call me out. My ex one time was like, I was crying, whatever. I was acting crazy, and then he was like, "Are you flowing?" And then I was like,
Tarek is laughing.
And he was like, "Are you flowing?" And I was like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you asking?"
But were you?
No, I just finished my period.
Okay, so you were just hormonal. Crazy.
I'm just crazy. That's it. I know I'm crazy.
And
I own it.
I like when someone sees me lose it, like have a little mentee and it's like just supportive, just there, like there, it's okay. Do you want a hug? Do you want a chocolate? Like
You know what I like?
what?
I like when I'm spiraling and I see a man not know what to do with himself and he's spiraling with me and he's sweating and he's like, what do I do?
He's
What do
too-
I do? And I'm just like,
When you put it that way, I do think that's entertaining also. But for the educational purposes of this video,
something's wrong with me.
for the educational purpose of this video, just take everything with a grain of salt.
Take everything. Don't listen to me.
Something else that's always important is to just see sort of how they speak about their family. So whether it be their sisters, brothers,
100%.
mom and dad, what does this person understand from their mom and dad's relationship? Do they want the same thing? Are they sort of modeling love on that? Because that's the first relationship we ever see. Our mom and our dad, they teach us about love a lot more than we realize. And they teach us about compatibility. So does this person see their parents have a very separate lifestyle and that's what they want? Is that what you want? Does this person have nice things to say about their siblings? Like, if you marry a person, you're marrying the family because we're Arab. That's just how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to just sort of understand what you're getting into. Do they do zwada, which is family hangs,
Family gatherings.
family gatherings once a week, once a month? How strict? Like you
I mean,
understand?
and is that aligned with your values as well? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you have to ask the questions that, like, the answers will make you understand better if his values align better
And
with
if your
yours.
lifestyles
Yeah.
align, because ultimately, like I think in this day and age, our lifestyles are so different to that of our parents. Like it's night and day.
Yeah.
So your family also might have a certain dynamic. You guys might celebrate Christmas and theirs might not, and theirs might not want you to celebrate Christmas. You have to
Yeah, but maybe
get
he
into
does.
all of that.
Maybe
yeah, but that's
he
the thing.
wants to
Maybe
celebrate
he
it.
does, and he's okay with celebrating it with you.
And
So
your
it's
family.
like, and your family. So it's like you really have to be. You have to get a whole picture. And also friends. I like inviting the person with my friends and I like them letting me see their friends.
I like seeing how he interacts with his friends.
Yeah.
And how his friends see him, because that is very telling.
I also think if you have a moment alone with one friend and you have an honest discussion, because this has happened to me. Someone's actually said, hey, what do you like about this person? And I said, and I think we both agreed on that. And I was like, it's nice that what I say, this person agreed with, It gave me a sense of relief. And it wasn't a good or bad thing. It was a very particular trait of that person.
I also do want to say one last thing. A lot of times you have to know yourself. You have to take the time before you want to get into a serious relationship or engagement. You have to be very familiar with yourself, know what you want in life.
Yeah.
Before you try to get with someone, because the more you know yourself, the better you're going to be at sussing someone out for a serious or long-term partnership.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you're going to know what you want to look for, or you're going to know what to look for, the questions to ask, what matters to you, what doesn't matter, things that you can, just things that you can let slide.
Yeah.
Things that you can let slide and things that you're like, no, this is a deal breaker for me.
It's literally knowing like what battles you're going to pick, like some things are really worth fighting for and you should fight for them and some aren't. And that's just not your person.
Yeah. I also think like you have to sort of like gauge like, okay, maybe this is something that doesn't work for me, but also there is something else that I really like and is very important and it's a priority and that matters to me more than this thing.
Yeah.
So am I going to be able to live with this? Is this something that we can work on? Can we find some middle ground? Like you have to have very tough conversations and that person needs to be willing to have these tough conversations.
And relationships also like ebb and flow, like who you are maybe at the start of the moment that you meet or get engaged or whatever is gonna maybe be very different to who you are by the time you're ready to get married or by the time you are married
And honestly,
or 1 year or 2 years in.
And honestly, like everybody's on their best behavior in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Everybody's on their best behavior
The
in the
first
beginning.
3 months are the trial period, free trial.
So put them through hell. Like test them. I'm sorry. Like I know this sounds toxic, but you need to test people because you're giving that person access to you.
Yeah, agreed.
And you are giving a big part of yourself back to that person. So you need to test that person whether they deserve it or not, whether they're
Agreed.
worthy of your love, your time, your effort, your energy. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Should we move on to red flags or green
All right,
flags?
let's do that. I'm ready. Are you ready?
Do you have your questions out?
I have my questions out. Hit
Okay.
me.
So the first time you meet on the first sit down or date, they show up late and apologize, but they don't offer an explanation. And they're genuinely apologetic, but they didn't give an explanation.
I mean, I don't know how that's possible because 9 times out of 10, I will probably be very late. So if they're later than me, first
Real.
of all, red flag. But yeah, red flag if they're not giving, like, even if they're genuinely apologetic, but at least give me something.
Yeah, I agree.
Something.
I agree. Red
But
flag,
if
like I
you're
need an
not giving
explanation.
me like an explanation, and especially if this is something serious, like you can hint towards it. I don't need to know details, but tell me a little bit so I can like at least feel better, or
Yeah,
else I'll
but
be
not the
thinking about it.
first
I'm like, why
time.
were you late? And the first time?
They love the first time.
No.
Like the first time is crazy.
So they don't really share much about their past early on,
What's early on?
like the first month or two.
Red flag.
Okay, maybe, I don't know. Early on, let's say
Okay, early on, I'd say the first month.
first month. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think it's a red flag or a green flag. I think if I see this person once a week, the first month, that's only 4 times I've sat with them. I don't actually need a whole resume of your past. I'd rather get to know you and then we can delve into your past, you know?
Okay.
Like I guess it's, for lack of a better word, it's green flag. This is not necessarily a red flag.
Okay. So you
If
don't see it as a lack of transparency?
no, like his past, what, like past relationships?
Yeah.
No, I don't have to know right away, honestly.
Really?
No, because I really don't. Like, unless you've been married or divorced or you have a kid or whatever, I really don't necessarily need to know right away. I really would rather get to know you. And then once I even just decide that, okay, I like you enough to care, then I want to know. Because I don't really care. I'm not invested, you know?
Mm,
I'm still trying to suss out if I like you at the beginning.
I'm not like you.
Okay. I knew we'd be different on these, by the
Yeah.
way. I told you.
I would want to know. I obviously wouldn't want to know details. I would want to know if you've been in a long-term relationship, engagement, marriage, whatever it is. Like, I would want to know.
That's because I assume the people that I've never dated someone that's been divorced. So I
Yeah.
think I just looked at it from a lens of something that's 20
I mean, at
something years
my
old.
age, I'm pushing 40 now.
Oh God, guys, that's gonna be her new thing now. That's when you, yeah,
Also,
probably.
it was my birthday yesterday. But yeah, I'm pushing 40.
If you guys missed out on the birthday shrine I had on my story for you, you missed out on something. People were saying happy birthday to you because of the dedication I had.
I still have not responded to so many people in my DMs, and I'm sorry, you guys.
And I never will.
No, I will. I just haven't had the time to get to it. We were just so busy yesterday. But what were we saying? Yeah, so I'm at an age where, yeah, I do expect the person that I date, like, they're probably going to be in their late 30s, early 40s, mid 40s, I don't know. But I would want them to be experienced or have some sort of experience. So if you are in your mid 40s and you have not been in any long-term relationship, that's a red flag for me. So I would want to know.
If you're in your 20s and you haven't been in a long-term relationship, I don't think it's a red flag. A lot of my friends haven't. Like it just
20s
happens.
is different than 40s, girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
Okay. Asks for your star sign.
Green flag.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
Because
that.
you're into astrology? What do you mean? Like, we're gonna be talking so much about astrology because we love
We can't get enough.
we love analyzing everyone's birth chart. Like, if you are willingly giving me this information early on,
If you're telling me what time you were born, oh my God.
oh my God,
Oh my God.
green flag all the way.
Yeah.
What about you? I mean, I know the answer. They're super close to their family and consult them about every decision. Sign of strong family values or a lack of boundaries.
Every decision.
Most decisions, let's say, a lot of their decisions, they consult their family.
Look, I'm like that in terms of like, I like my mom's opinion. I really like my mom's opinion. Like for big decisions, I love to tell like her, like, oh, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? But every decision, no. Like I'm at the end of the day, like I'm driving my own car. Like it's my life. You know what I mean? Actually, I don't drive, but you know what I mean? Metaphorically.
Yeah.
But like for big things, yeah, I kind of want at least my mom's opinion on it, you know? Because it's nice to just have that parental opinion because they
So
know
red
better.
flag, green flag?
Every decision or every big decision?
Every big decision.
Okay, every big decision, it depends on how old they are.
To me, I would say it's a yellow flag. I don't know. It's neither red or green.
I just think if every big decision needs your parents, like I think you aren't ready for a serious relationship. You
Yeah.
can't make your own decision. So I think I'm gonna go with red flag.
Also, like how close you are to your family. Like, yeah, I would want you to be close,
Of course.
but you have boundaries. Are they
In your business.
hovering constantly?
Are they in your
always going to be
business?
there? Are they going to be in our business?
Do they have an opinion on everything? I cannot date someone whose family is going to have an opinion on everything because I think ultimately it means that when I marry this person, they're going to have an opinion on everything about me. And I'm out. You know, I'm out.
Yeah.
All right.
Next one.
Yeah. Okay. This one is an odd one. Talks a lot about themselves. On the first thing, very charismatic. Very charismatic, Zainab. But on that first meet, they talk a lot about themselves.
No.
Red
No.
flag?
Red freaking flag.
Okay.
Because I've experienced that where a guy is constantly talking about himself. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing? As a man, why are you just talking about yourself? Like it's giving arrogant, it's giving self-absorbed, it's giving like self-serving. You're not really interested in getting to know me. As a man, you should be trying to get to know me. And even I think the other way around, even as a girl, if she's constantly like talking about herself,
You're so self-centered.
you're self-centered.
Yeah.
I would say it is like it has to be a balance. It has to be a give and take. But if you're just talking, like you can be charismatic, and also that would be a red flag for me as well. Like because yeah, while charismatic people are fun, but
يخرعون.
they
they're
really
scary.
do scare me.
I think
Kind of like Geminis. Because they're super charismatic. I love Geminis, don't get me wrong. This is the Gemini stan account.
not all Geminis are
Not
bad.
all Geminis.
I have a lot of good Gemini friends. So, but no, I think especially if it's the first time that we're meeting and you're talking a lot about yourself, that means you're not really interested in getting to know me. So why are we here?
Exactly. Why
Like,
are we here?
Get a podcast.
Right? Without a co-host. So you can have all the monologues you want. All right. My question to you is, they avoid answering questions about their long-term plans, saying they're just living in the moment.
Red flag. A red flag. No, like, come on. Like, if you're not 16 years old, okay? What do you mean you're living in the moment?
As Kourtney Kardashian said, I'm just out here living life.
Yeah,
I just
you're
want
not-
to live life.
You're not Kourtney Kardashian. I just think in this day
And you don't have
age-
Kourtney Kardashian's bank account.
Yeah, you definitely don't have that.
If you do.
I understand.
I understand.
I get it. I would also be just living life.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'll live life with you.
Living large. No, but honestly, I just think it's also unattractive. Like, I'm like, you just not have any ambition. I'm an ambitious person. Like, I have not just hopes and dreams, but I also have like things that I want to accomplish, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like if someone's like, I'm just living life, I'm like, well, I just don't think we see life the same way. So
what if they've already accomplished their dreams?
Okay,
and-
khalas. Well, I mean, I guess if they've already accomplished everything and they're enjoying it, yeah, but that also means that we're at a very different stage in our life and I don't know what that would look like, you know?
So you're sticking to a red flag.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Talks a lot about their family. This is the first meeting, huh?
Like, what do you mean talks a lot about their family? Like, are we talking like 90% of the time he's just talking about his family? Or like he
Like,
brings their family up
I
a
don't know.
lot?
Like brings their family up a lot, maybe pulls out a photo. Like, I don't know. Like it just
Why are you pulling out a picture of your family on the first date?
I've
Like,
had that
I mean,
happen to
look,
me.
it depends. If it's a family engagement, then yes. Okay. Like if it's a family arranged meetup, because obviously your mom is coming with you, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna meet your mom right out the gate. But it could be cute. I don't know. I
I've
don't
had
know.
that happen to me and it was cute.
Depends
صراحة.
on how it's done. Because honestly, it is a green flag if you're talking positively about your family. But if you're constantly going on and on and on and on and on and on and on about your family, then I'm just like, oh, this is unhealthy territory now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like it can be, I think it's a green flag if you do it well, but there's such a fine line between doing too much and then it's just a red flag and it's weird.
Okay. They're very active on social media.
Is that their job?
I don't know.
Okay, this is sort of a double-edged sword,
I don't
right?
regardless, whether it's their job or not, they're very active on social media.
For me personally, it's a red flag. For me personally, like if it's their job, obviously, honestly, if social media is part of your job, then I don't care. Like that's not even in the question. If social media is not part of their job and it's just a regular man, then for me it's a red flag. I don't understand why you need to be out here posting your selfies, like your little gym selfie,
Oh
like
no.
your coffee. I don't care. I don't care.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's a specific
Don't do it.
There's a specific type of person that uses Instagram or social media in general as a dating profile. And that's why they do that. And I find that so embarrassing and it's so obvious.
Cringiest thing ever. You know those like sponsored ads that you get of like guys just like posing and then they sponsor it and then it pops up in my feed and I'm just like, why am I getting this? What are you doing here? What are you just doing, period?
Yeah, what
like,
are you
and
doing?
you go on their profile and it's nothing. It's not like you're into fitness. It's not like you're, you know, trying to model.
Yeah.
You're not into fashion. It's just your personal account and you're sponsoring it. And just me thinking like the fact that you paid for this.
But you know why? They did that to meet girls.
Obviously.
It's just embarrassing.
It's so bad. And I would never fall for that.
No.
Like, ick. Biggest ick. But for me, it depends, honestly. Like, because I know certain careers require you to, because now social media is kind of a marketing tool as well, like especially Instagram, especially in Kuwait. I've noticed that we use Instagram to sort of market ourselves and our careers. So it depends. Like, let's say he's, I don't know, a doctor. Doctors have social media accounts.
That's the thing
where
is
they
if
do
it's a part of your job, I think it's fine. But even then, there's a very fine line between doing too much where it's just like, okay, this is a bit, for me, a bit cringe, you know?
Yeah.
Also, people who are in fashion, marketing, all of that, like obviously, like, yeah, like that's your portfolio at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I will still stand by what I said, I think, in our very, very first episodes. I want a man to have
no social media presence.
Not just no social media presence. I want like the worst angles ever. I want the selfies. You know, the selfies where he takes it from the bottom and it's so unflattering
So
and he doesn't
ugly.
care. And, you know, he's just posting picture of nature, his dog, maybe. It just doesn't care. You know, he's not coloring his photos.
Imagine
kind of
he's
like a digital
filter.
diary.
You know, imagine he's out here using filters.
Oh my God. You know how like guys on, you know, guys here on Snapchat, they love using the Snapchat filters.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm just like, what are you doing?
No, it's
and no. Guys, this is the guy that you need to avoid at all costs. He takes gym selfies.
He goes to Oxygen.
He goes to look, some nice guys go to Oxygen.
Yeah.
90% of them.
90%.
I don't know. No. But a lot of these guys, these are red flags. They have a gym selfie. They have a selfie in the car. They have a selfie.
And not in the car, in the 1.8.
In the 1.8.
In the truck.
Not just necessarily a 1.8, but it has to be a selfie in the car. And then it has to be a shirtless photo of him either at the beach or a pool or a tropical location.
And he has to have tagged Mykonos. I know him and his friend group went to Mykonos.
And then a picture of his coffee.
Yeah. And they felt so cool about it, by the way.
Yeah.
It's 10 years too late, brother. It's 10 years too late.
This guy, just throw him in the garbage. He's for the streets. He's for the streets. He's not for you. He's for the community.
He's communal goods. And we're leaving it at that.
Yeah.
What if he compliments you a lot?
Like, no, red flag.
Okay,
Red flag.
good.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of times guys use it as a manipulation tool to you can tell when it's a bit excessive. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? When he's constantly complimenting you, especially when they start talking about your physical
Yeah, I
appearance.
hate it. Do not mention my physical
Mm-mm.
appearance.
Mm-mm.
Like first
Like
time
if
we
you
meet,
said it like once in a respectful way, okay, but if you
Yeah.
keep constantly bringing it up and like over and over and over and over again and just like gassing me up constantly, I'm like, you're trying to manipulate me.
you're a love bomber.
Yeah, you're a love bomber for sure. They have a lot of friends. I think we've touched on this before, but they have a lot of friends of the opposite gender that they're very close to.
Red flag. Red flag.
That took you a split second. That didn't even take you a
because
second.
there's a difference. I have a lot of friends from both genders. I really don't care. Like I wasn't raised with the idea that one is necessarily better than the other for whatever reason. But ultimately, I'm never gonna connect to a boy the same way I'm to a girl. And I want to set boundaries with my friends. Doesn't matter how much I love them and they're brothers to me. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
So especially if I'm dating someone, I'm not gonna be ultra super duper close to a guy. Like it's disrespectful for me personally, and I would expect the same from them.
Yeah.
Like, why are you bestianas and super close to a girl? Like, are you sharing your hopes and dreams and fears and emotions with her? Let's date her then. Marry her.
Look, I don't mind if the person I'm seeing has a lot of girlfriends, but
Of
you have
course.
to have more guy friends.
No, listen, I've never met, and I'll take that as a qada. I've never met a guy that I've liked that has more female friends than male friends.
Yeah.
And the guys that I've known that have more female friends than male friends, I've never liked them for reasons that I found that were a bit shady.
I'm sorry, like
They
we've
like
seen
to
it.
surround themselves with women a little too much.
We've seen it time and time again when a guy, like, if he's telling you his best friend is
His
a
ride
girl,
or die.
his ride or die is a girl, I'm out. I'm
Same,
out. I'm
same.
sorry. I'm sorry. Call me insecure. Call me whatever you want to call me. I am out because you don't see me out here being bestianas with a straight man.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, like a straight man is not going to understand my problems, my issues, my suffering. You know what I mean? As
No,
much
we're
as
not gonna
a
bond the
girl.
same. Like we can have an amazing friendship. I'm a big fan of boys and girls can be friends. Like I'm a big believer in
Yeah.
that. Like I don't have a problem with that. But my inner circle daily phone call hang, no, like no.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, like
She's
this
secretly
might-
in love with you.
Yeah, no, this might sound like I'm generalizing or I'm attacking a woman or whatever, but there are a lot of girls who are friends with a guy and then they try to secretly compete with the girlfriend and they want to show the girlfriend that, oh yeah, I know him better than you and I know he likes this and I know and they just act weird. Like it's not for me. It's definitely not for me.
So it's time to get into let's get
get
spicy. Ooh, hot. It's actually freezing. I'm cold. So we asked you guys, how long should you know someone before getting engaged? The majority voted for 1 to 2 years. Balance is key.
40% of you guys.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm with that.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that. And then we had 27% say depends. Allah knows best.
Real.
And then 22% said less than a year when you know.
Couldn't be me.
Could not be me.
No.
And then the rest said 3+ years, take your time.
Yeah, it depends on
3+
how
years
you're
is
old.
too much.
Yeah, but it
It's
depends
too
on
much.
how old you are. If you met at university and like what you're 20 years old, you're gonna marry at
Well,
20
yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
I
Good
don't
point.
like. Listen, it works for some people, but your frontal lobe isn't developed. So I know
Honestly,
for me, I couldn't have.
Yeah. Even if it was like a family engagement or whatever, I could be like, no, I'm talking like I'm the mother of the daughter. I would be like, honestly, if that was my daughter, because Lord knows I'm far away from 21, but if that was my daughter, I would be like, no, wait until she graduates or until she turns 25.
Yeah.
And also that way I can suss if that person's serious about my daughter, if they like my daughter, if they're willing to wait for her. Like, why are you in a rush if you're in your early 20s? Why are you so...
You have your whole life ahead of you to be married.
Yeah. So the next question we asked was, how should you meet the one? And 64% of you said, doesn't matter. What's meant to be will be.
4% of you said family, introduction, traditional, and trusted. I like that it's only 4%. The
Yeah.
sprinkles and spice community knows. Spam fam, that's the way to do it. Do not let your family sit you up.
And 23% said they want a meet cute.
I want to meet
I
cute.
want meet cute so bad.
Like, I am going for this apple and you're going for the same apple. And we're like, oh my God.
He is dying to meet someone at the grocery store.
No, at the farmer's market.
You keep talking about it, babe. You keep talking about it. It is the third time you've mentioned it to me today.
I actually want to be
You're
an
like,
Erewhon.
I want to find a man at a grocery store.
I want to be an Erewhon and we're both like fighting over
oh my
the
God,
apple.
I feel like he would be such a douche. If you meet a guy at an Erewhon, 9 times out of 10, he's going to be a douchebag.
No, but I like a fun meet cute.
He'd
know,
probably
like,
be Chad, Thad, Brad. You
Thad?
know,
What's that? Stop roasting my maybe man.
he probably plays, what is it?
Ukulele?
Lacrosse?
Oh, I was like, okay, but lacrosse
And polo
players?
shirts.
Okay, is that unattractive? No. Okay.
He's the Menendez brothers.
Okay, and they're both good looking.
Before they became homicidal.
And they're both good looking.
Free the Menendez brothers. All right, next one.
How involved is your family in choosing your fiance?
This one was a close one.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 4 options. 3 of them were pretty close, even split.
Yeah.
No, actually, that's a lie.
No, 2 of them.
Okay.
Two of
Yeah,
them.
2 of them were pretty close. I would say even split, but majority.
Not involved. It's 100% my choice.
Yeah.
I like that.
And then the other 2 were somewhat involved and then lightly involved. And then only 7% said very involved. Yes, girls. Yes. Be responsible for your own decisions.
Make your own mistakes.
Make your own mistakes. Then you have no one to blame but yourself.
Okay, I really love the last question. We decided to ask you guys what the pettiest reason you've ever seen someone reject a proposal was. And you guys came through. Someone said, actually, this isn't even reject a proposal. This was a full-on divorce. Someone got divorced because he was jealous of her cat. Honestly,
that is not a ridiculous. That's valid. Why are you jealous of my cat?
no, pause. That would happen to me. The way I treat my cats is like they are first-class citizens. Everyone else comes second.
No, but also, like, are you dumb?
Are you okay?
Crazy? Are you okay? You're literally jealous of my cat. My favorite is that he's short. And honestly, I don't think that's a ridiculous reason.
Wait, have you seen the one that was like the guy's height was 155 centimeters?
I'm sorry, short kings. I'm really sorry.
Listen, I have a thing. I think short kings should marry tall queens because then you will have less short children and less problems. I don't have a problem with short kings though. I'm not a hater like that.
I'm tall.
Yeah, you are.
I'm 171 centimeters, which is 5'7". So
I'm 165. So I'm fine.
I've decided that I am not going to be with someone who's under 190, period. So in conclusion, I'm never getting married again.
You only have 2 options in Kuwait.
What are they?
Men in heels.
This one's in Arabic, but it cracked me up. I'm going to read it in Arabic and then translate it. She said, واحد رفضني لأني مطعمة كورونا يقول ما راح تجيب عيال.
Oh my God.
Basically, he rejected her because she had the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
And he was like, you're never going to have kids.
Okay, we have 2 that are opposite. She wasn't wearing makeup in the picture you sent. So the guy didn't want her because of the picture that he saw, she wasn't wearing makeup. And then right next to it, the guy had never seen her without makeup and was suspicious.
That's crazy.
Both are invalid. And I love it.
Oh my God. This one's wild. Her voice wasn't high pitched enough for his mother.
Why is his mom so invested in her voice? Are you a singing coach? Are you trying to turn her into Idina Menzel? What's happening? No, is she gonna audition for Wicked? Like, what's going on
She needs to break a glass.
with her scream? Do you think your scream could break a glass?
Probably.
I think so too.
I think I could hurt people with my scream.
Okay, so this one was doesn't like the sense of style. She said, I won't look good with him walking next to me. You know what? I think that that is fun. That's a project. You don't like his sense of style, you can dress him. If you care so much about fashion, you can really teach him what to wear to your liking. That's a missed opportunity, girl.
Yeah, agreed. Someone said the boy texted his mom too much. And honestly, I don't think that's a ridiculous reason. I think that's valid. Like, why are you constantly texting your mom? Do you want to go back in her womb?
One is so shady, he's balding. Hair transplants exist. Also, honestly, pause. I'm kind of into, I used to not be. Like, I used to be like, oh my God, I love long hair. Like, I love hair. Like, I love like hair in the wind. You know what I mean?
No, I'm sorry, that's not realistic.
No.
First of all, not everyone wants to go through the process of it like a hair transplant.
No, but also pause. Now I'm so into like the bald look. Like, I don't know what it is. There's something about it that I find so, especially a buzz cut, so 2000s football player like David Beckham, like that look. I think that's cool. I really do. I don't know. Like this year, I've seen the light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? Men, before you start balding, save yourselves. I was watching this TikTok the other day of how all these celebrities saved their hairlines by
Way
getting
before.
hair transplants
Yeah.
before they started balding.
Yeah.
And that's how you should do it.
Did you see the
men.
Justin Bieber one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justin Bieber was insane. It was Justin Bieber and who else was it?
I can't remember, but yeah.
But yeah. Save yourselves and
think
get a
Harry
hair
Styles.
transplant. Yeah.
yeah.
Hair styles. Tariq could never relate because Tariq has good hair.
Tariq has the hairline of an 18-year-old, mashallah.
He really does. Okay.
Yeah.
Someone said a girl once told me she rejected a guy because he doesn't know the movie Grease.
Valid. Valid.
These are crazy.
No. Someone rejected someone because of the mole. They had an awkward mole.
Oh my God.
We have awkward moles. You have one under your lip. I have one over my lip. Can you imagine if
No,
someone
these are not awkward moles. These are nice moles. Look, how big is the mole? What does it look like? What's the color and where is it?
was he or she open to lasering it off? You know?
No, but why would she want to laser it off? I'm sorry. Like, if you don't like her mole, someone else is gonna like it. Someone said
No, but
not
there's so many-
buying her an expensive watch she wanted. How do you feel about that?
Is it like an all diamond AP situation? Okay, does it cost the price of a small home somewhere? Or like I need more details. I need this person to tell us more. Also, this is such tea.
So someone said she was a Dira girly and his family lived in an area that was too far. Dira girly is a city girl, basically.
Yeah, cars do exist.
And also, Kuwait is so small. I'm sorry.
Like to get
What do you
from
mean?
one side, like the tip of Kuwait to the other tip, what is that, like an hour and a half?
Yeah.
With traffic?
Is it? I would say 2 hours if you're going from border to border.
Okay,
Like Iraq to Saudi.
okay, well, I'm sure one didn't live in the corner of Iraq.
But no,
and the other
let's
one's
say
corner of
like,
Saudi.
okay, Kuwait City. Let's start at Kuwait City.
Kuwait City, and they live in-
Sabah al-Ahmed. Is it Sabah al-Ahmed? The area that's next to Khiran? Sabah al-Ahmed, I think.
Okay.
Let's assume they live next
That's
to
an hour.
Khiran, Sabah al-Ahmed. That's an hour and
A
15,
half, maybe,
like some
with
change
traffic.
max.
And like you won't be doing the back and forth forever. At some point, you move into somewhere else, like their home or a separate home. I don't get
Yeah,
it. That's
I
an
don't know.
excuse.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, she asked him if he were a superhero, what he would be. He said Superman.
And she was like,
no,
nope.
I'm
No,
out. I
not
gotta
the
go.
right superhero. What was she expecting? I mean, what was that question
The
in the
right
first place?
answer is obviously
Batman.
yes, Batman. Like he's so mysterious, and she can be like, "I'll be your Catwoman."
Mysterious
Yes,
girl.
Move your body next to mine.
Move your body.
Into the mic.
Into
Into
the
the mic.
mic. Anyways,
On that note,
on,
on that note of love and despair.
I'm sorry, I can't get over that. Maybe, you know what it is? I think maybe she was just disappointed that he was not Henry Cavill.
I think, or oh my god, what is that? You know the Superman from Smallville?
What is his name? Not Weather her.
Oh.
Tom Wellington.
Tom Wellington.
Tom
Ooh.
Welling? Tom Welling.
Tom Welling or
Tom Welling.
Wellington?
Tom Welling.
Yeah.
Wellington is the boost. Tom Welling. Okay, do you remember when like heartthrobs looked like Tom Welling? The universe has not produced a Tom Welling in forever.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, by the way, because he wasn't cheaper by the dozen. When I was a kid in my head, I was like, oh yeah, when I grow up, like my husband's gonna look like that.
Your husband's gonna be Tom Welling.
Yeah. Like,
Also,
for sure.
shout out to Christopher Reeves, the first Superman.
I wasn't born.
No, but I wasn't born either. But he was, I think, was he the first Superman? But he was like the most iconic Superman. He unfortunately had an accident. You don't remember? He was like in the 20s. I think he was
No, I don't remember.
Christopher Reeves. Hold
Show
on.
me the picture. Maybe I know the picture, not the name. Shout out to Pierce Brosnan also. My favorite 007, since we're shouting out our favorite.
I mean, it's related to. Hold on.
I just wanted to talk about. Oh, I do know him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Christopher Reeve, not Reeves. Shout out Christopher Reeve.
Friend of the pod.
The OG. The OG Superman. He was handsome. Even when he aged,
He looks like he's a statue.
he was so handsome. But unfortunately, he had a accident. He fell off the horse or something. And then I think he was paralyzed. I might be making this up, but I know he had an accident. But he was the OG Superman. So I'm sorry. Yeah. If you don't look like Christopher Reeve,
Henry Cavill.
Tom Welling, and Henry Cavill, then you shouldn't be saying your favorite superhero is Superman.
Honestly, I do agree. It's like a recipe for disaster. Robert Pattinson doesn't look like he showers. So if you say Batman, we're fine. Ben Affleck is an alcoholic. Again, like great, like you look great. It's a great selection to look great.
Hold up. I'm sorry. No, we've had some really hot Batmans. We had George
but
Clooney as
late,
Batman.
I'm saying as of
Val
late.
Kilmer. No, Val Kilmer wasn't my cup of tea.
You know who's a great Joker? Like, but it killed him.
Don't even. Let's not go there.
All right.
Let's not go there. Anyways, you guys,
on
let's
that
end it on a
positive
positive note. On that positive note, if you guys enjoyed this episode,
Like, comment, subscribe. Anything less than 5 stars for the review, and I'm sending Batman, the Joker, and Superman to beat you up.
where's the bat signal? We need the bat signal.
The sprinkle spice signal.
All right, you guys, we will see you next Wednesday. Bye.